is what it is.
Damn, that'd have been 700. But hey, it is what it is, man. Things could have been different. Did you have aspirations of being a performer when you were a kid? I know you went through your phase where you wanted to be, you know, Black Power, then you wanted to be a pimp like Isaac Hayes. But did you ever want to be a performer?
Yes.
You know, when you were like 10, 11, 12,
yes,
singing in the mirror? Yes. Or was that just the spur of the moment thing when Run DMC broke your mic?
No, I've always wanted to do something, man. I remember me and my partners used to be in the backyard. I bought me a bass guitar, got me a blowout, and we be doing all the Jackson 5 moves, man. All that shit. And I couldn't play the bass. I had bass lessons, never got good enough to play it on the record and like that. But that was something I always aspired to do. I was always in plays at school. I was always in dance groups at school. I've always been a stage type of kid. I never was a leading person, but I was always in the top 5 active people on stage. I always had, you know, major parts. And I had theater at Centennial. I had theater at El Camino College, but I also had 2 types of theater. I had acting classes, and I also had lighting classes and stage building classes. In case this shit behind the camera, in front of the camera don't work, I go get me a hammer and a saw and go back to work behind the stage. So that I've always had that kind of dual career situation. I've always had a backup plan. I've always had a backup plan. But yes, I've always had a knack for entertaining. I just didn't know what I could do, and rap was right up my alley. I ain't got to carry a note. Shit, give me this microphone. And that's real talk. And again, technology changed the game so much, man, because if it wasn't for technology going digital in the 80s like it did, we still couldn't be able to play. I mean, you know, that was our entry level. Drum machines, sequencers, and shit like that made it possible. But the that's made it possible. But today's the computer just makes it ridiculous because you got people that don't even try to do anything sonically correct. They just do it because they feel good. They high, sound good to me. They got an easy way to get it on the internet, and it's it's no gatekeepers, and sometimes you need to filter out some of this bullshit, but that's another subject.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said it before. Back then, if you wanted to make music, you had to have money. Nowadays, you can have $100, buy yourself a little setup, and you're good to go. You know what I'm saying? But back then, shit, just to cut a record was $2,500 or something like that.
$2,500. And that's just to cut the record. You ain't pressed nothing up. You ain't did no labels, no jackets, no processor. That's just to cut it, $2,500. So if you ain't got $3,500 to just piss off the window, come on, man. There's a whole bunch of records that Michel'le did not make it. That's what took him out of business, because he was putting up all the money for all the post-production. Once the record came to Michel'le, he didn't care what it was. He didn't know no way. We called him 10 ears down. He had 10 ears. He couldn't hear shit. He had no rhythm. He didn't know nothing. So anything that came out, he would put it out. And to put a record out after you leave the studio cost you about $600. And then you got to put it in boxes, send it UPS to record stations and stores for people to check it out. So that's why I say it costs $1,000, because back then everything was UPS, and records are heavy. Records are heavy. So you ain't got $1,000 just to piss off, and he was doing it. He was covering all the extra costs, so he was running his bills up, and wasn't but a few records actually making any money for him, and that's where the problem came in at.
Okay. Miami 808 wants to know if you remember the Caution Crew.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Caution Crew.
I remember them. I don't know much about them. Who was in that Caution Crew?
I'll look it up right now. Let me see. Miami 808, help us out. Who was in the Caution Crew? I got my trusty phone right here. Let's see. Caution Crew. That sounds very familiar for some reason.
Yeah, it is, but I don't recall their records.
Caution Crew, hip hop. Let's see what pops up. Caution Crew was a hip hop duo from Riverside, California in the early 80s. The group included Mark Ross, also known as Brother Marquise. Oh, so that's Brother Marquise. That's That's the one who just passed. And Rodney O. Okay, so that must have been Brother Marquise and Rodney O's group. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Taught me something today, dog.
Yeah,
definitely taught me something.
All I know is Rodney O had one group. That's him and Joe. And him, Joe, and General Jeff. I'm gonna call RBX, see if he fell asleep or something.
Let's give him a call. Hit that like button, everybody, if you haven't already. Trying to reach out to RBX. He is going to join the show and talk about his history. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Shout out to the chat.
You hear? X. This the voicemail?
Got him.
RBX.
Yeah, I did too. That was definitely his voice. Yo, he has one of those voices. You only need to hear one word and you know it's him.
Yeah, it's deep as Barry White, and I think that might have been his voicemail, man.
Yeah, he'll call back then. Hopefully, I'm sure he.
I hit him already.
Okay. Yeah, probably taking a little power nap or something.
Okay, we'll hit it back. All right, folks.
Yeah. Sure, we got it.
Talk to me.
Okay, yeah. All right, so that was the caution cry. And Only Good Game says, I don't know if I asked you this, but when was the last show Dr. Dre attended with the Wreckin crew?
Woo, man. About 85, 86. 85, 86, right before we broke up. We broke up in 86. And it might have been, I don't know, man. That's a good question, dude. Because we slowed down a lot, dude. I mean, that was the biggest drawback from being signed to Sony. Our shit started drying up around the end. Everybody was frustrated. We wasn't making no money. Our cherry curls got dry. Beepers got turned off. It was horrible. It was a rough time, doc. It was a rough time. I think we did a couple of shows, and we didn't make no whole lot of money. We did an appearance. I think we got like $500 doing an appearance. But no, at the end, it was kind of rough, dude, because the phone stopped ringing, and that's what made me do turn off the lights, because I knew if we hit them another ballot, we can go back to work. Because one thing about Juice and Surgery, they were good club records. They played them on the radio in the mix. They weren't in a heavy rotation. Lovers was heavy rotation. And Lovers was the one that got the phone ringing. It kept people booking us. That was the one that we closed the show with. And because then we had Cabbage Patch. Cabbage Patch did good, but again, it didn't get the phone ringing like the slow songs did. And that's why I made the decision to do another ballot, and it worked out. But by that time, we wasn't doing that, man. I couldn't tell you, dude. I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you. It was a dark time in Lonzo land. That's for damn sure.